Hello from Fort Myers Beach. Here I am again at sunset. This is going to be Stopping the Madness Part 2. If you watched the video I made yesterday, I delved a little bit into my mental health journey. I gave a couple examples from childhood, which weren't major events. They were just the ones that started the ball rolling at 5 and 6 years old. If you read in the comments, I shared some more things about my late development. My time in high school, especially freshman year, when my self-esteem pretty much tanked. I went from 8th grade to being on top of the world to being the king of the school to 9th grade where I was a fucking nobody, just a dweeb in the marching band that was 4'11" and 98 pounds. Yeah, so that's part of where things started going south, and I didn't really make a turn until my senior year, after I'd hit my growth spurt, after I'd found a group of friends that were real friends that I could count on, that I could hang out with, get drunk with, and do all the crazy high school things, shenanigans that kids do. But then I found religion again in my adulthood, and I've documented that, deconstructing my faith or my spirituality video a few days back. If you go back and look at my videos, you'll see about how I documented some of the religious trauma that I suffered in childhood and through adulthood, through the ritualistic, abuse of things like original sin and blood atonement, and just not being good enough for God for any number of reasons. I've basically become an atheist because of it, because I don't believe in this made-up deity that marked us with a sin, that we're responsible for a crime that some make-believe man named Adam did to us in some fairy tale in the Garden of Eden. Like, it's all fucking bullshit. So I wasn't born into original sin. I don't need human sacrifice and to relive it through the Eucharist and actually eat the flesh and blood of a man, of a God man. How fucking sadistic and fucked up is that? So I suffered the religious trauma too. And then I got into a series of narcissistic relationships where I was also abused. And that's where Stopping the Madness Part 1 came from, because I'm getting out of a third one. A third relationship of about 29 months. That's how long I've known this person. 2 different relationships, 10 years apart, where I suffered ritualistic, narcissistic abuse. And so my checking in the mental hospital, where'd the sunset go? There it is. So my checking into the mental hospital was the beginning of the healing for the latest trauma, for the latest abuse. But I realize now that it's a pattern, and it's probably rooted in all those traumas from my childhood that I told you about, from narcissistic parents that never got help or healing from sexual childhood traumas, or their own ritualistic abuse. So they passed that on to me. It's like a generational curse if you believe in that kind of bullshit. But I mean, there's something to the patterns, right? The patterns of behavior that are passed down either genetically or learned behaviors. Yeah. So that's my psychological journey. And I've been in, like I said, a 20+ year process of healing. I learned in 2012 how to speak nicely to myself, how to be my biggest advocate, how to be my biggest champion, and how to learn to love myself. And I've been practicing that since 2012, right here on this beach when I read it in Dr. Germer's book, The Mindful Path to Self-Compassion. That's what started me on the current journey of loving myself and knowing that I'm good enough, of knowing that I'm worthy just by being. Just by being a human being, I'm worthy. I don't need to do anything, I just need to exist and to be. And that's what I've been practicing for a long time. That's my new spirituality. But it's been a long path. And now to find myself in another narcissistic relationship where I've suffered abuse just goes totally against the grain of all of that, because I was criticized, I was ridiculed, my character was attacked, it was basically assassinated. And I put up with that because I thought I was doing the right thing, choosing the right path, being the bigger person, and trying to love her to healing. But you can't love somebody to healing that has that level of trauma. It's going to take years of intensive psychotherapy that she's just begun. She's just begun the road to healing that I've been on for 20+ years. Not that that makes me better in some way. It's just where we're at. We're at different places in our life, and they don't match up. We're not on equal playing fields, even though she likes to always say that we are, that we both have issues and we both need to work on. Babe, I've been working on them. I didn't come into this with all these childhood traumas that were undealt with. I didn't come into this relationship hating myself and loathing myself like I did for the first 30 plus years of my life. Let's say 40. These are things that you're just now coming to grips with, and you don't love yourself, and you do loathe yourself, and you do sabotage yourself all the time with pattern behaviors. I don't do those things, but I suffered through your traumas with you and have been the pincushion, the punching bag because of it. And I'm stopping the madness by getting out of the relationship, stopping the abuse, and starting the healing. And so that's where I'm at. This is where I'm at on Fort Myers Beach for maybe a few more days. I don't know. I'm making a plan to get out of here, but it just hasn't come to fruition yet. But the abuse ended when I checked into the mental hospital. And even though there's still been some attacks and some fights and arguments, I'm not letting it affect me physically, mentally, emotionally, because I'm not going to get drawn into that again. I don't own any of the bullshit that's been told to me. I don't buy the comparisons to literally psychotic patients at that hospital that were on 2A, which is the nut ward of the hospital. I was on 3A, which is basically the detox unit. So yeah, I'm not gonna accept those comparisons. I'm not gonna own that bullshit anymore. I'm not gonna listen to the lies and the gaslighting anymore. And I made that clear in a secret video to her earlier that I'm done. I put an end to that. So that's where I'm at. Now she's texting me again, so I'm gonna check out and let this video end. I'll be uploading it to YouTube in just a little while. Thanks for listening. Take care of your mental health. Whatever you do, protect that with everything that you have, because your perception about yourself is all that matters. So you've got to protect that. You've got to speak nicely to yourself. You've got to love yourself. And if you don't yet, learn how. Read the book if you need to. It's called The Mindful Path to Self-Compassion, Dr. Christopher Germer. It combines meditation practices with just some self-healing, because he's a psychotherapist. Learn to do that. Take care of your mental health, because what you feel about yourself is the only thing that really matters. Other people's perceptions don't shape who you are. Only your perception of yourself. Get to know who you are deep down on the inside. Who is that person that observes life as it goes by, that observes all these crazy thoughts that spin around in your brain? Get to know that person. Love that person, because they deserve love as a human being. Thanks. Peace out.